Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel, our website, or our social media. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a model that came out in 2020, now available pre-owned. This is the Tag Heuer Carrera Caliber Heuer 02. 44 millimeters in a combination of stainless steel and black ceramic. This is an in-house caliber chronograph that combines the best of the Carrera with some modern elements and, of course, contemporary movement engineering. 44 millimeters in diameter. The watch doesn't quite wear that large. At 15.4 millimeters thick, it's by no means an ultra thin. From lug to lug, it's a significant 50 millimeters with a end link to end link distance of 53 millimeters across the wrist. It wears roughly like a 44 millimeter Betterini case Panerai Luminor. Now, the spacing between the lugs is a substantial 22 millimeters. If you're going to get a strap, you're going to want to get a broad strap for this watch. It's nicely planted on the wrist. Again, it looks substantial. It is a big watch. It easily qualifies as an oversized sports watch, though the delicacy of the details, the character lines, the creases, the curves, the polished and the satin elements do give it a subtlety that's lacking in other oversized watches. For example, the Hublot Big Bangs. This is a graceful watch with true rooting in real Heuer history. And again, on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see how it wears head on, down the barrel, and the cuff shot. It'll work with the jacket. I don't think it'll wear with a tight dress sleeve. Now, taking a quick look at the hardware and the software, no, it's all hardware. There are no straps here. You have a multi-link design, and you can see it actually features depth on the center links, and that's uncommon. Staggered satin as well as polished elements, and recesses in between links at a third dimension that is often lacking in flat bracelets. This one actually has some interior depth, and it's intriguing. Satin outer flanks, you can see there is a half link on each side for precise sizing. If you wish to size this bracelet, you will need a block and a punch because pins and sleeves are used. And then there is deploying clasp. Single fold deploying, steel like the case in the bracelet, twin trigger release, it closes flush. It's attractive when closed, and thanks to the twin triggers, it's secure when you close it. Roll into the case. I've commented this 2020 model is somewhere between a traditional Heuer Carrera and almost something like the 67 GS case from Grand Seiko. So it's not quite as straightforward as the original 1963 angular integrated lug Carrera. You can see there are some curves here that you typically don't associate with a Carrera. You can see that there's curvature about the case. It also has a little bit of a tumble home, so it rolls inward from the outer lip. The lugs are integrated, but they are a combination of curves and hard angles rather than just including hard angles like a traditional Carrera. You can see there's also a little bit of elaboration to the faceting at the end of the lugs as they are simultaneously angled and polished with a little bit of an asymmetry to them individually. The end link of the bracelet is fully integrated and handsome, and you can see that there's satin finish on the hoods of the lugs as well as the mid-case, with the mid-case drawn out somewhat to create a second step below the bezel that visually breaks up the sheer of the side. Taking a look at the bezel, you can see in profile it's a combination of polished underside, a satin outer flank, and then a polished top. You can see the tachymeter scale used for gauging the speed of an object over a kilometer or a mile, for example. It is a sporting accoutrement, and the ceramic bezel, being very hard, protects the watch from scratching. It acts along with the sapphire as a heat shield for the rest of the watch. You can see there are black shoulders for both crown and chronograph pushers. There are also metal shoulders for the chronograph pushers that help protect against shearing. If you look closely, you can see that the finishing is thoughtful, with a bevel on the outside of the individual pushers polished, and the top as well as the edges satin finished. You can see the Tag Heuer shield logo on the crown, and as you can see, the watch, though 100 meters water resistant, does feature a standard push down crown. I cannot screw it in even if I try. So it's always easy to activate the hacking or stop seconds, or alternatively, the quick set date. The watch has both features. Now, the timepiece features a vertical clutch and a column wheel, which means there's always a smooth start to the chronograph seconds hand. That's the vertical clutch. And the column wheel, which you can actually see, let's see if we can get the just see it underneath my finger. It's easier to see in person, but the column wheel mechanism allows for crisp actuation. That is traditional chronograph construction, a column wheel with crenellated towers, making the chronograph more crisp than a typical cam system. The dial has depth. You can see there's a red-hot outboard, a sort of sloping flange that acts as a reference for minutes, seconds, and fractions of chronograph seconds, cantilevered steel rhodium-plated individual applique indices, and then at center we have a matte center dial with registers that aren't sunken so much as they're somewhat lifted above the dial. They have flanges that rise above the dial base, which results in good depth. Overall, it's an upscale and handsome dial. Now the movement, the caliber Heuer 02, it's gone through many iterations. The Chevenet plant that builds these was originally going to build a movement called the caliber 1969, and then 1969 became the CH80, and the CH80 became the Heuer 02. Long gestation period, but what you need to know is automatic winding, 80-hour power reserve, stop seconds, quick set date, 28,800 vibrations per hour, 33 joules, column wheel, and a vertical clutch. It is a very modern movement. And as you can see, it uses Edachron, which means it can be very precisely adjusted. While entirely mechanical in its finish, it is attractively spec'd, right down to the silvered rather than golden wheels on the visible portions. It is a good-looking watch front and back, and technically quite accomplished, with an exclusive movement used only by Tag. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the Tag Heuer Carrera caliber Heuer 02.